Rachel, now I think it's important to talk about the details of the unification proposal and the ground that it covers. One concern we've heard from members is how the standards of the profession can be maintained. How do you answer that?
This is really driven from the 8 guiding principles. The 8 guiding principles were set up to ensure that the standards and the rigor of the profession are maintained through all the unification discussions.
Can you tell me where someone can find a list of these principles?
The 8 guiding principles can be found on the CPA Canada website, and they're listed there in their entirety, as well as some background information as to how they were developed.
These principles sound pretty important. Can you tell me about the significance of the 8 guiding principles in the planning of the unification proposal?
These 8 guiding principles have been used across the country in all the unification discussions. They not only ensure that the standards are maintained and the rigor of the profession is maintained, but they also ensure consistency as we all enter into unification discussions. When you look at the Alberta proposal, you can see the 8 guiding principles throughout the document. When you look at the education model, the use of designations, the setting of the standards, the 8 guiding principles flow throughout the document. Not only were the 8 guiding principles important in developing the proposal within Alberta, but they'll guide us through the entire unification process.
CA members have been hearing a lot about tagging. Can you explain what this means and how tagging will work?
Tagging relates to one of the 8 guiding principles, and that's the one on the use of the legacy designation. Essentially what it means is that for a period of 10 years, you'll be using your legacy designation along with the new designation. For instance, I would become Rachel Miller, CPA, CA. And after a 10-year period, you would then have a choice as to whether you would want to continue using your legacy designation or just use the new designation, being the CPA.
Why is tagging important to members?
Well, what we heard from our members was that their legacy designations were very important to them. The concept of tagging allows them to adopt the new designation but continue to use their old designation for as long as they feel comfortable.
Are there other reasons that tagging is important?
We also feel tagging is very important for the marketplace. The marketplace is very familiar with the current legacy designations. When they hear CA, CMA, CGA, they're familiar with those and they understand them. So during the transition, when we move towards a CPA designation, we feel it's important for clarity and understanding for the marketplace for the use of those legacy designations as well.
How will the adoption of the CPA designation affect the rights to practice public accounting?
This goes back once again to the 8 guiding principles. One of the principles is that there will be no expansion of rights and no loss of rights. So therefore, if you're currently registered to practice public accounting in Alberta, you'll be able to do that as you move forward.
I know that CAs take great pride in their current international mobility. For example, I know that the ICAA currently has reciprocity agreements with 14 different countries. In the future, with the transition to CPA, how would these reciprocity agreements be affected?
That goes once again back to our 8 guiding principles, one of which is the retention of practicing rights. Any agreements that were made under the mutual recognition agreements will be maintained as we move forward, and any new agreements entered into would be under the CPA banner.
How would the profession standards and code of conduct be unified under the new CPA designation?
Well, Natasha, the protection of the public is of utmost importance to our CA profession. Currently, there is a national regulatory group that is looking at harmonizing the standards across the provinces. The CA profession has done a lot of work over the past few years on harmonizing areas such as practice inspection, discipline, rules of professional conduct, and the new legislation and the new framework will be based upon this work.